And a very good afternoon to you, or good morning as it still is, and you're very welcome to WIT Arena here in Waterford City for, of course, the third level Camogie College's big weekend of action. Of course, it's going to begin shortly with the Purcell Cup, and later on we will have the Ashbourne Cup. Lots to look forward to. Don't forget, you can join us for both. There are two separate links, so make sure that you check out all the action on the Camogie Association's YouTube channel, but also you can find out all the details on the third level Camogie social media channels, so all the links are available for you there. But you've obviously, if you're here with us, you've clicked on the first link anyway in preparation for the Purcell Cup. That's between NUI and TU Dublin, and joining me on commentary throughout the afternoon, we're going to have a busy day enough here. Elaine Aylward, you were telling me all about your Ashbourne Cup weekends previous. Here we are in WIT Arena. Does it bring back memories?
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be my most productive Sunday of an Ashbourne weekend in a long time, but yeah, super memories, and what a competition, and I suppose the talent and the players across all group stages coming out into semi-finals during the week and finals weekend now this weekend. You know, it's a massive game, massive weekend for colleges, and I think it's part of the college experience for so many Camogie players all over the country. Yeah,
now obviously in recent times we've gone away from maybe the weekend as such, not playing semi-finals, you know, on maybe the Friday or the Saturday and then into Sunday. You know, does that benefit players, or it's been a hectic enough schedule though since the start of January as you look at the results there in the last couple of weeks right up to today? So maybe did they enjoy maybe having the break then ultimately?
Yeah, I think, look, and if you include county commitments and probably club commitments for a lot of players into the equation as well, it has been a hectic couple of weekends. But I suppose, look, from a recovery point of view, even if it is only 4 or 5 days away since the semi-final last Wednesday, you have those couple of days. Like originally, you know, if you had a semi-final yesterday, if you pick up a knock, it's very unlikely that you'd be 100% fit again today, and maybe it took away from some of the quality of the games before. You know, it was second or third game in the weekend for some players, whereas today they've had 4 or 5 days rest and they're coming into it as fresh as you can be for an Ashbourne final.
The only thing is it takes away from the social element, I suppose, a little bit.
I'd say they'll probably manage the social element still. I don't think that was anything that was ever lacking in colleges Camogie, so I'd say they'll probably make up for it somewhere along the way.
But great that we're back, you know, and I'm sure we're going to be at a certain point, Lane, that we're not going to be referencing COVID anymore, but we didn't have these competitions last year, so great, I would imagine, for all these ladies who are out here representing their colleges to be back out on the pitch.
Yeah, because I suppose unlike county maybe or club, you know, there is a real limited time that you can play colleges Camogie. I know there's still a few probably hanging on that extra year or two to go back and get an extra bit of qualification, but you know, you have your 3 or 4 years of playing Ashbourne, and to miss 1 or 2 of those, I suppose, is huge in a Camogie player's career. So I'd say massive excitement to get back out into the competition this year, and for those teams that have made it to finals weekend, then an even bigger achievement.
Yeah, quick word then about this final. Obviously NUIG up against TU Dublin. TU Dublin, as we know now, let's get the monikers and everything out of the way. All new name, obviously, technological universities as they now are. DIT, obviously, as they would have been, have obviously 2 of these titles before. I'd imagine, look, both of these sides trying to get back up to the top table to, you know, be in places that they've been previously.
Yeah, huge opportunity for them to get back up to that Ashbourne level, and as you said, TU Dublin with the experience as DIT, having won it twice before. NUIG are no strangers to the competition, they've won it once before and are used to knocking around the Ashbourne stages as well. So yeah, huge opportunity for one of them now today to stake a claim in the big game next year.
And looking at it as well, you know, we're looking at 2 sides that, you know, littered with various different counties obviously, but you know, women that are out here on the field today who have good experience of inter-county level too.
Yeah, that's the thing about colleges Camogie. The talent is absolutely massive. You know, every player who's eligible to play inter-county Camogie is probably playing in colleges as well. So you're mixing that then with clubs and counties that maybe wouldn't be used to playing together, wouldn't play against one another, maybe in provincial competitions or anything. So there's huge experience and huge learning for, you know, you can have a player maybe in her first year in college from a club or county, maybe hasn't quite made an inter-county breakthrough yet, and you're mixing with maybe an all-star from last year. So it's a huge experience for teams, and that brings its own mix to the games, I suppose, and often it's those lesser known names maybe that maybe people aren't taking as big a note of can step up on a day like today and have a huge impact and put their hand up for a place maybe on an inter-county panel if they're not there yet.
Well, we'll talk about the teams shortly when we get confirmation that who is starting, Elaine, but weather conditions, everything, I'm sure most of us across the country saw the belt of rain that went overnight. Maybe some of us didn't experience it, but definitely the pitch has taken a little bit of rain here. It's going to be, you know, wintry conditions you would feel on the pitch anyway, although I have to say overhead it's cleared up thankfully.
Yeah, we might be lucky, I think, that it might stay dry overhead. There is a bit of a breeze there, alright, and as you said, a lot of rain overnight, so the pitch is going to be heavy, but look, that's what the girls are used to training in. That's pure Ashbourne weather as we've come to know and love it, so I think that's part and parcel of it. And as you said, look, they've had the 4 or 5 days rest from from the semi-finals Wednesday night or Tuesday night during the week. So, maybe the legs will be that little bit fresher than if they'd been out in these conditions yesterday as well. So, look, at the pitch, in fairness to WRT here, is in immaculate condition. You would expect it to tear up a little bit with 2 games in the afternoon, but look, what pitch in the country wouldn't with 2 games in February? So, look, I don't think the pitch or the conditions will have too much to say in today's games. I think it'll come down to what happens inside the white lines.
Yeah, sure it will, but great to have these facilities and access to them here. So don't forget, we have all the action on the field to come Elaine with me throughout the afternoon, but we're heading back up to our commentary position where we'll be shortly getting underway with the Purcell Cup Final. That's between NUI and TU Dublin. Okay, so welcome back to WIT Arena here for this Purcell Cup Final, and it sees NUIG taking on TU Dublin, and our camera is on NUIG there at the moment, who of course coming into this scenario where they have one Purcell Cup to their name, one in 2018, and they are captained by joint captains Rachel Hannafy, well known of course, Oran Moore Mary plays senior camogie of course with Galway. The Hannafy name well known in that direction. Orla Maher is also joint captain with her. She of the Shinrone club in Offaly has lined out a junior level for Offaly, whereas TUD are somewhat of a who's who and we'll see that with the Dublin colleges today. An awful lot of the Dublin camogie teams represented, Elaine, out here this afternoon. Orla Gray of course is someone that we're going to see emerge, I think, a big way in the next few years on the senior scene in Dublin. Yeah,
a couple of really familiar names there from Dublin senior and probably intermediate panels over the last couple of years. So Adrian O'Sullivan, I'm sure, will be one inter-county manager who will have a keen eye on today's games to see how some of his players perform against the likes of players from the likes of Kilkenny and Tip and Galway and these places. So yeah, huge interest I suppose from a Dublin point of view, and the fact that they've got 3 colleges here in the finals. It's a unique pairing certainly in the Ashbourne, and TU Dublin will be looking to get that the day off to a good start for Dublin here today.
So just about to get underway here then. Haven't heard of any late changes to what we have. We'll bring them to you if we see number change, but you won't mix the new, I have to say I like the colour, the teal colour that TUD have. And getting on straight onto it, here's the Dangerous Lady that we're going to maybe see out there today. Roisin McCormack of Lochiel and Antrim out there. I see number 23 out there already for NUIG. Claudia McCormack is out there from the Nave Bree Club in Offaly. And it's breaking just down here to our left. The wind is going to be behind NUIG for this first half. That ball sent in there by Jodie Couch, but it's going to hold up there a little bit in the underground conditions, but it's been dealt with eventually by the NUIG fullback Leah Burke, and it's out here played down the wing by Rachel Hannafy. Nice little ball into the hands of Tegan Canning. The Galway girls linking up here now and onwards here to Tiffany Fitzgerald. She'll be a key player, I think, for this NUIG team, and there it is, up and over the bar. The Young Ireland's player has got things underway, and I said Tiffany will be a big plus to this NUIG team here.
Yeah, and a super score there from you. NUIG worked all the way about from the full back line, played it lovely along the lines here, and that lovely crossfield ball then across, and Tiffany was probably a little bit unlucky she didn't break onto it first time, or she could certainly have been in closer to goal, but a great start for her and a great start for NUIG.
Referee today, Colin McAllister from Cork, is keeping it up on the play here. Is this quick move of ball here, trying to get moving here. Sophie O'Dwyer trying to get on that ball. Ball is vantage being played, and he's going to call it back here. Aisling Maher was about to pull the trigger, but it's going to be a chance here now. And again, Sophie O'Dwyer of the James Stephens Club, Soaring Star nominee, of course, the All-Stars to be announced at the end of March. What a year she had with Kilkenny Intermediates. But she here today now lining out in the corner forward position for TU Dublin. Is standing over this is Aisling Maher, pointing towards the arena here, and gets a good bat on that. Played it with a bit of spin, I think, with the wind in her face, and that's up and over the bar.
Yeah, superstar from Aisling. They're probably just trying to gauge the wind a little bit, because as we said, it had picked up since we went down even onto the field beforehand. So as I said, NUIG won that toss and elected to play with it, so they'll be looking for a big first half here.
So puck out goes over to the far side. It looked like TUD were about to get their hands on it there, but it's taken on there by Tiffany Fitzgerald. Tiffany, who of course is going to offload this now to Tegan Canning. Tegan Canning from the Mullia Club has put that ball over the bar, and seems to be a sizable enough support from Galway here around us, and that's a good start from them.
Yeah, certainly something to cheer about again. Tiffany Fitzgerald really, really involved in that play. Lovely little hand pass, and Tegan Canning with the lovely run off the shoulder there. So NUIG do look dangerous when they get the ball up to that end of the field. Interesting weekend for the Fitzgerald and the Couch families, Elaine. Tiffany is playing here obviously with NUIG. Her sister Stephanie's playing with DCU, and then we have the Couch sisters playing for TUD and DCU. Yeah, and I suppose that's the thing about Ashbourne Camogie, or colleges Camogie, as well as you have clubs mixed, you have county mixed, you have families mixed on that occasion. So huge interest across all games, I'm sure, for all those families this weekend.
Probably just glad they're not playing each other, I suppose. But I would imagine the Fitzgerald and Couch families represented here today as ball is broken down there by Rachel Hannafy. Tries to drive forward now as they attack the far end away from the arena here to our right hand side. We're sitting in the second covered stand here. Fine facilities we know here at WAT. And TUD have turned that ball over though as they attack the, you could call it, was the motorway end here of the WAT arena down towards the fine facility that they have, and trying to drive on here is Ava Dillon. The Nave Marnold player though is held up there well by Sarah Guinan, Kilcormac Killahy player, trying to get that forward now, and Tegan Canning looked like she got a bit of a heavy dunk there, but Colin McAllister seen nothing wrong with it. And turned over, moving on now, Gabby Couch. Of course, Jodie and Gabby on this setup. The TUD, ball is flicked over there by Ava Dillon. It's going to be a shot off now from Kerry Finnegan. Dropping in, dangerous ball now, got to be careful there. Fiona Ryan, the Balladreen player, of course, who's played minor, intermediate and senior with Galway. Been involved with all those teams and panels, and even got a Schools All-Ireland with her school Seamount, which is here in goal for NUIG today. But watching Niamh Keenan from the Lara Club in Cavan have a shot off there and puts it up and over the bar. And Niamh Keenan, of course, herself and her sister, of course, had a great year with Cavan over the last couple of years. And she's here now, levelling things up here. Yeah,
and did really well to get the shot away there. A lot of pressure on her from NUIG, and just got the swing in, and against the wind, a lovely score, and just keeps TU Dublin in touch.
So 2 points apiece here then after 5 minutes. Ball breaks and playing it out here in the direction of Gabby Couch, but it's been NUIG that have turned it over. And to get moving here now in the ball is Leah Heffernan, but has been redirected over the far side of the field now by TUD, and looking to get on it now, Finnegan. Cotto turned over here towards Ava Dillon, who's been on an awful lot of ball in the early stages here. The Nave Marnold player looking to skip inside the attentions there of Melissa Walsh. Walsh lets it go through her hand there, but it's picked up instead by Claudia McCormick, the Niamh Breed Offaly player. Down the wing it goes. And it's getting stuck in the ground there. That's just adding to the excitement, I suppose, I'd imagine here, a little bit of lane.
Yeah, it's just holding up a little, and you could see even the last ball there from Eva Dillon in onto Fiona Ryan just held up a little bit, and thought for a second that maybe Sophie Dwyer would make up the ground onto it, but I suppose it is heavy ground out there. There is a strong breeze, so just both teams just taking a little bit of time to get used to one another, but hotly contested game.
Ball is not greatly clear there, and Keenan gets the ball back inside now. An opportunity for TUD to get the lead score here, but the ball has been harassed enough there. Sophia Dwyer was by cornerback there, Niamh Black, and that ball has gone out to the left and wide. Niamh Black, of course, who has played intermediate level with Galway. Her sister Roisin, of course, well known within the Galway senior setup. I'm sure there's a number of the Black family, the connections, of course, with Armagh. I think there might be a Nanty of those girls would have won a title with Armagh back in the day at Camogie level, but I'm sure they're tuned in here if they're not with us this afternoon down here, as the ball breaks at 2 points apiece. It remains then, and Colin McAllister giving the advantage here to NUIG. Rachel Hannafy now looking to skip inside the attentions here of Gabby Couch. St. Oliver Plunkett's old Mua player was skipped away from easily there, but eventually stop. And a free, says the referee. And we remain at 2 points apiece then here.
Yeah, call back for the original advantage there for the original foul. I'm not sure Rachel Hanfey was expecting the pass back out on that occasion, but it came and no advantage accrued. So happy to take the free now, and a chance for Tiffany Fitzgerald.
So Tiffany Fitzgerald, who's definitely stepping up here today with the performance so far. Got a point after 2 minutes, got the opening score. And have a shot at the post here. Is it carrying on the wind? It is. And the umpires like it. And Tiffany Fitzgerald leading the way here at the moment now after just over 8 minutes.
Yeah, and where NUIG had players sitting back, maybe they've kind of pushed her out a little bit now and looking to maybe just go at TU Dublin just to try and make that wind advantage count in this first half, because it is a sizable breeze behind them and they'd like to, I'm sure, have a bit of a lead up at half time to try and defend then in the second half.
Better, just while we're at it, send on our sympathies to the Couch girls that are playing out there today. They buried their grandfather Terry Young during the week. I know there's to be a minute's silence before the Ashburn for a number of people who sadly passed away in the recent weeks with players involved. So our sympathies to the Couches and Young families. And on the ball here is Meliosa Walsh, and she gets up ball, the Thurlockmore Galway player, down into the corner, trying to see an opportunity maybe to break out here with the jerseys, but it's going to be a shot in there by Leah Heffernan, and she put that ball over the bar. She came out of that ruck, I have to say, phenomenally well, got into a bit of a gap, a little drop of the shoulder and over the bar.
Came out of that ruck unbeknownst to anyone, I think TU Dublin looked like they had it under control, but suddenly she was inside and it was a rasper of a shot, and if it had been a little bit lower I think it could well have troubled the goalie. 3 points apiece,
4 points to 2 I should say, with that score there from Leah Heffernan from Aero Gannicarty, famous club in Tipperary. Has lined up with the Tip Juniors, and maybe someone we're going to see over the championship season. As trying to get on it, Gabby Couch turn left and right and gives the ball back here though towards Aisling Marr. Aisling, of course, a big player for Dublin over the last number of years. Getting the ball forward. I'm sure Adrian Fitzgerald isn't too far away. If he's not watching this, he's here keeping an eye on all the Dublin players that are involved. I'm sure he's hoping they all come through with no injury worries ahead of next week in action again in the league. As his shout, Niamh Keenan about to drop this ball in, dangerous enough ball, but it's well caught there and looks like it should be a free out. An advantage being played by Colin McAllister. And NUIG rejecting an awful lot of what TUD are putting in there at the moment.
Yeah, TUD are, they're making the attacks, they're making the inroads, a lot of crossfield ball coming, but as you said, really, really well read by the NUIG defence there, and Leah Burke did superb there to catch that one. Hugely confident, knew she was going up with the hand and knew she was going to take that ball.
Not a great clearance there by NUIG. It's picked up by Orla Gray, the captain of the TU Dublin side. She gets it on here towards Jodie Couch, someone that she know quite well in the Dublin setup, but nobody in there. All the time in the world for Leah Burke to pick her shot out, and it looks like TU Dublin into the wind have drawn out a player and trying to create a bit of space, but that's leaving Burke free inside to pick up an awful lot, as we see a NUIG player down injured. Looks like in a bit of bother over there as this ball breaks. Here's now Aisling Marr looking to get inside, but she's been tracked by Walsh there, who seems to be back helping out the Thurlockmore player. That roll lifted up there, trying to get that Marr, looking to skip out round. There's 3 maroon jerseys around her. She does somehow get the ball back out to O'Dwyer. Skip lovely back onto her right, dropping the ball in, but she's dropped it though to the right and wide. And now we've called for Dindry over on the far side. That's really a missed opportunity from TU Dublin.
Yeah, and Sophie O'Dwyer now has had two wides, 2 well worked scores, some lovely first touch from her to get the ball into her hand, but just the shots just haven't come off, and she said 2 wides, and as you said, into the wind like that, every opportunity counts. So TUD will be disappointed at the couple of attacks that they haven't been able to make them count on the scoreboard.
Haven't made them count, but again, just where we have a break and play there, phenomenal. When you think, as you said, I know when you bring the college's crew together, but these women and the level that they're playing at, like the amount of those who have senior intercounty experience is huge for a lot of young, they're some of them still in their teenage years and early 20s.
Yeah, that's, as I said, I think that's the absolute beauty of Ashburn Camogie. You could be 6th year in school, I suppose, last year, watching on an All-Ireland final and watching some of these players, and then you go to college and suddenly you're training with them, and you're going out on a Tuesday or Wednesday night and you're training against them. So it's a huge competition as regards blood and players for intercounty experience. And as we said beforehand as well, conditions are tough out there, and there's no room for maybe smooth, silky hurling, and it asks a lot of the players. So I suppose it reveals a lot of them as well, and it's a character building kind of a competition, and I suppose a lot of intercounty managers will be looking at that and seeing if they can bring that kind of fortitude to the intercounty season. I
think that's Kevin Connolly that's gone out there, is it? For he's trying to lead off his player here at the moment. Is it Niamh Black, I wonder? Just seeing the player coming off here at the moment out of our camera shot, but it's going to be a change anyway on the NUIG setup, which is not great for I suppose their defensive unit has been going quite well at the moment. Oh, it looks like a bad leg injury there picked up. And it's Shannon Keady, who just missed out in trying to pick up on all the jersey numbers that was out there, but she has picked up a leg injury there, and change has been made.
Yeah, it's number 17, Fiona Guiney, I think, has gone on already while Shannon was coming across the field there, so there didn't seem to be any doubt about it in the NUIG camp. Once she went down, they had the sub ready to go on straight away.
Yeah, it looks like it's around her knee area there, so hoping she's okay. She's got a bit of a strapping now down under her left knee there. Shannon Keady from the Ormer Murray club, with replaced by Fiona Guiney from Famous Family in Wexford, a famous club too. As a ball is picked up by Sarah Guinan. It's been very effective today so far, but that ball is a bit loose, and it's going to be Niamh Heffernan, who's just been named in the last week there by Adrian O'Sullivan, part of the senior development squad in Galway. But that ball has been sent straight away by Fitzgerald up and over the bar, and no opportunity there to clear from Niamh Heffernan. She was snaffled fairly quickly there from an NUIG point of view. Ball straight out. Tiffany Fitzgerald, it was flicked up to her by Fiona Guiney up and over the bar.
Yeah, and from distance, and that's what NUIG seems to be really, really good at today, is building from the back. When they break down those TU Dublin attacks, they're able to pick out their player up front and build on it straight away, so there's no wasted ball. Once they turn over TU Dublin, they're going straight on the attack themselves. Ball
is down the far end, and where it's Rachel Brennan steps out there and wins that ball. Rachel, a dual player in her time with Dublin, various squads. The ball is on the ground there again, and you'd have to say from Kevin Connolly's point of view, we'd be happy enough that they're making the most of the elements here. They do have a significant enough breeze on their shoulders.
Yeah, there is a significant breeze there, but I suppose the thing he'll be most happy with is that when they get the ball up there, they seem to be able to make a count on the scoreboard. They seem to be able to get the scores just a little bit easier than TU Dublin seem to be at the moment.
So on the move as Shannon Keady is getting a little bit of support from her teammates down there. She's watching the action on the field with Tegan Canning trying to get through. Bit short there of a puck knocking the ball in, but it's gone out to the left and wide, and it's NUIG's first wide. They have made use really of every opportunity up to date, but that was a bit of a loose one, and it just bounced to the line and out and over.
Yeah, and again, it was the build-up, Molly Mannion at the back there with that lovely clearance, Leah Heffernan with that lovely first touch, then up into the path of Tegan Canning, and I suppose a bit of a rush of the blood to the head, maybe got the shot away when there might have been something bigger inside. And I suppose that's the danger when you're playing with that breeze in your back. You tend maybe to shoot at will, and sometimes there can be the greater things to be created inside, so it's just something I suppose for NUIG to be a little bit cautious of from here to half time now.
TU Dublin playing with two players inside in the forward line, but I would find that there's a bit of too much of a gap between their half forwards and the full forward line.
Yeah, it's asking a lot of the forwards in there, the 5 forwards that are in there on the 6, and sometimes 7 backs at times. So I suppose with that big gap there, it's given the spare player for NUIG the chance to read the play and get back into that play. The ball is not going to travel in there that quick against that breeze, so it's a slower build up, and I suppose it gives NUIG the chance to get that spare player back in there.
NUIG, of course, come into this game having swept aside TUS Midwest and Trinity in top in Group A, and then to beat IT Carlow in a bit of a thriller after extra time. I think extra time went all their way though, and it finished 4-9 to 2-7 on Tuesday night. But they're coming strong here again now with Tegan Canning from Mulya, and Galway and representing NUIG giving that ball forward, but it's well played here by centre back Niamh Cannon of the Nave Jude club in Dublin, getting this ball forward down along the wing, but it's a 2-on-1 situation here now for Roisin McCormack. McCormack looking to step inside. The Antrim player, the Lockheed Shamrocks player as well, had a fine year last year. McCormack shortening the grip and knocking the ball in and over the bar. Is it? No, just out to the right and wide. Umpire took his time and waving it. Would have been some score, especially when she had 2 players to deal with.
Yeah, she made little of having the 2 players in front of her and won it really, really well. Took it on time and time again and did well to get the shot away, and unfortunately for her it just dipped, and I think it even had the umpire in doubt right up to the last second there. But those are the kind of chances that TU Dublin need to be converting.
Yeah, but I suppose they won't be too unhappy. Bill McCormack and his crew won't be too unhappy if they're within 3 points at half time, because that breeze somewhat significant, and they're starting to get the grips around the middle again, it would seem. But taking off the ball there is an opportunity to get forward there. Ashing Marr, who's dropped out now and trying to direct the traffic across. Here is an opportunity now. Sophie O'Dwyer, 2 wides for her name so far, looking to get inside Niamh Black, looking to get this ball inside. She does to Ava Dillon. Dillon has one look at it, turns and spins and puts it high and handsome and over the bar. Lovely score, nice move by TU Dublin.
Yeah, and that's more what they'll want to see. You know, that was a really, really well worked score. Repel back the NUIG puck out and then built it themselves. And again, Sophie O'Dwyer involved in the far side, and she's the kind of a player who will thrive in that kind of space if it's in there, if they can get the ball in quick enough to her. Lovely ball across then, and a super score from them. And as you said, just to keep them within touch and distance, if they're within a couple of points to turn around to play with that breeze in the second half, they won't be too concerned at half time.
Ball knocked down at the far end, and here might be able to capitalise on it now as Leah Heffernan got a fine score after 9 minutes, but she's been surrounded by 4 jerseys from TU Dublin. But somehow you'd have to, if you were a TU Dublin defender there, that wasn't a great thing to do. 4-on-1 situation, and Leah Heffernan is the one that gets the free in.
Yeah, they had all their work done. They had all the hard work done. They had her bottled up. The only option there was the pass back out, and it wasn't going to be a great one back to Tegan Canning. So, as I said, they had all the hard work done, and then a simple free given away and a chance for Fitzgerald to just counteract the score that they've just got.
Tight to that post, and it should have been put over. That's a missed opportunity, you would feel, from Tiffany Fitzgerald.
Yeah, led off there certainly for TU Dublin, and from that kind of easy free that they'd given away, and uncharacteristic for Tiffany to have that one drift out to the right and wide.
I suppose for a free. The chance here now to break on. Not a great puck out. Hannah Scott looking to get forward. The James Stevens player still going, being held off though. She's going to have a shot. Batted away by the goalkeeper. Did very, very well, and eventually she has another pull on it. It's gone out to the right and wide. Chance for Hannah Scott, but fair play to Rebecca Atkinson, standing strong in that goal and batted up all the way.
Yeah, TU Dublin has certainly got off the hook on that one. An intercepted puck out, and Hannah Scott read it really, really well. Got onto the ball. Credit to the TU defence, they got back, they got the numbers back. Rachel Brennan got across just to maybe get a half block on it, and Orla Gray initially, and then, as you said, Rebecca Atkins stood really, really tall, but no option this time, I think, but just to go along with the puck out and try and win it out there.
Rebecca Atkinson has that puck out there from the Good Counsel Club in Dublin, has represented Ireland at softball. As an American dad, so I think that has the influence on it, but Rebecca has made a great save there from Hannah Scott, and has kept maybe that little chink of light there for TU Dublin in this first half anyway. That could have been further behind, but good save from that shot from Hannah Scott. As this ball is cut and down it goes in front of us here. That looked like a foul, no question. Ashing Marr straight through the back of Niamh Black, and I would be thinking of a card there, and Ashing has gone down holding her elbow. But Colin McAllister looks like he's keeping the cards in the pocket. That looked to me a bit over robust of a challenge. Yeah,
I'm not sure where the tackle for the ball was there, and he is coming to Gavin Quilty on the line here, maybe just to have a quick word with it. But in fairness, it's been a free-flowing enough game, and frees have been few and far between, so Cathal well known for liking to let the play go and letting things develop themselves, so happy enough to, as I said, to keep the cards in the pockets again and free out for NUIG.
Yeah, he consulted with his linesman, but I'll reserve judgment, but I definitely thought that challenge was a little bit over the top, I have to say, from Ashing Marr. The body of Niamh Black was in the way, which she came through it. But anyway,
we'll see softer yellow cards, I'm sure, before the year is out, Killian, we'll put it that way.
Anyway, the ball has been left for Fiona Ryan. This lady has, I think, a long puck medal in her repertoire as she knocks this ball down to the beyond the 45 here. And it's picked up by full forward Tegan Canning, the Mulla player, looking to get this ball down into the corner. It's very tight down there, trying to see who's down there in an effort to win it. TU Dublin look like they have picked it up, but the referee said there was a foul committed, and actually it's out over the line, is it?
Yep, yeah, the umpire from the right
given
post,
a 45, yeah.
There.
So it got very, very tight. Again, you'd have to feel that TU Dublin on occasion, defensively have the numbers, but then have made some, uncharacteristic errors.
Yeah, have the numbers, and maybe just aware of the threat. I think it was Tiffany Fitzgerald that was in around the breaking ball on that occasion, and a little bit of panic maybe in the TU Dublin defence, and either, as we said before, giving away the free, or on this occasion the 45. Now, it's not an easy one, it's further out than from where her last free was, so unless she's learned maybe just to judge the wind to drift it in across it, but a chance for NUIG all the same.
Luke and Owner with us here on production with Intrade today, and good shot angle there of Tiffany Fitzgerald, which again, she's not happy there, throws the head at that one. That shot gone off there to the right and wide. 2 wides now for Tiffany on the latest placed balls.
Yeah, and that breeze out there obviously making conditions difficult enough, and especially for free takers, is very open down that end of the pitch here. So for Tiffany, they're obviously not curling in from that side of the field, and maybe better to just keep them in play.
So maybe it's not much of an advantage in ways as Fitzgerald gets on this ball and knocks it back there to Tegan Canning. Canning knocks it out into a bit of space to get it away from Christine Shanahan. Ball is still going. Tegan Canning is the head down now. She's been tracked all the way by Mar, keeping a good job though. Christine Shanahan, you'd have to say credit her. She's getting in there. Niamh Gannon in there as well, but she's just whooshed out of the way. And it's going to be a free out. And again, chance there maybe for NUIG that just couldn't get the clean ball to maybe get the possession movement.
Yeah, and that's more like it from a defender's point of view from TU Dublin. You know, they had the numbers back on that occasion, kept the head, didn't panic, forced the turnover, and then won their own free.
TU Dublin on the attack now here again. Looking to get through and it forward here. Is Aisling Mar going to have the shot off? It's tight to that upright. The umpire though minding himself and keeping an eye on the ball. It's gone out to the right and wide. And just in the last few minutes, you know, wides have mounted up on both sides.
Yeah, a couple of uncharacteristic ones. As I said, everything, first 10 or 15 minutes, everything the shot was going over the bar. But I suppose just from a TU Dublin point of view, Aisling Mar is very far out from the goal there. Had to do a lot of work herself on that one. And when she finally did get the shot away, I suppose she just wasn't able to curl it in. Decent
ball out by Fiona Ryan, but the ball breaks in favour of TU Dublin's corner forward, Sophie O'Dwyer. Ball is on the ground there, trying to get it, Gabby Couch, but on the ground trying to dig it up was Rachel Hannafy, but the referee says there was a push in the back there. The Galway crew around us are not happy with that, but he says that Rachel Hannafy was guilty of a push. Now, I think Rachel Hannafy was on the ground on her hands and knees and players were all over. I don't know, when she got up then she probably was just trying to get a bit of space, and maybe she was fouled first.
Yeah, there was a lot of, as you said, a lot of bodies around the ball there, and there was a couple maybe of high hurls back on it just before that one was pulled. But I suppose when a player goes down like that, they're always going to give themselves a great chance of getting a free. So a chance now, but as I said, it will be into a strong breeze.
Roisin McCormack then, fine year for Antrim last year, of course, that they went all the way to win the All-Ireland intermediate title, dropping this ball in, ball breaks, but it's kicked away there, and NUIG looking to try and hold on to it there with Sarah Guinan, the Cormac Killahy player, knocking this ball forward and picking it up. Rachel Hannafy, the joint captain this side, and out in a bit of space, and we'll have to say fair play. Molly Mannion, Soaring Star nominee, she'll know in the next few weeks whether she's picked up that award, wins that well, and nice little dinky ball into the middle where it's again picked up by Tiffany Fitzgerald. Tiffany, of course, her sister Stephanie will be playing later on with DCU. Ball is knocked inside, but the referee says that it's going to be a free out, and there was a chance inside there for NUIG, but I think we're going to see our first name taking here. He reckons that it was a foul committed by full forward Tegan Canning, who looked like she was away, but the Dublin player Orla Gray is down at the moment with a bit of an injury.
Yeah, I think it was the long ball in from Tiffany Fitzgerald in the middle of the field there, and it looked to have beaten both Orla Gray and Tegan Canning in there. But I think the issue Colin McAllister might have had is how Orla Gray ended up on the ground, maybe, and whether Tegan Canning had maybe made a little bit of a Seamus Darby effort and maybe given her a little bit of a push forward before that ball came in and dipped over. But TU Dublin, I suppose, lucky to get the free out on that occasion and not have that break inside.
A little bit of a shower passing over WIT here at the moment. It's going to make things that even a little bit more bitingly cold. I have to say, when we went down pitch side at the start, it was you could say mild, but breeze has definitely picked up again after dying down overnight, and rain now passing through here at the minute. So I'm sure the girls will be hoping it gets to half time. I think I remember here 2 years ago we had a ferocious hail storm just before the end of the first half of the Ashbourne Cup Final that year. Girls were only glad, I would imagine, to get into the dressing rooms. But on the charge here now is Christine Shanahan, popping the ball inside towards Niamh Keenan. Got a knock on it, but NUIG have rejected it again. Breaking out over on the far side now is Katie Manning. A couple of Mulla players on this NUIG team. Is flicking the ball forward now, looking to try and find Fiona Guiney getting in there. Guiney, of course, a famous family name down in Rathnure and Wexford, but that ball has been turned over and Niamh Gannon is about to come out with it. But it's again Tiffany Fitzgerald, who's covered every blade of grass, I would imagine, anywhere inside, you know, the TU Dublin half, as this ball from a very impossible angle over on that far side really wasn't a shot on. and it's gone out to the left and wide.
Yeah, that's one that NUIG needed to do better with. They needed to recycle that across the square, but I suppose when Tegan Canning looked up there wasn't too many options across the square, and she opted for the shot. But as you said, herself and Tiffany Fitzgerald have been involved in an awful lot of what has been good about NUIG in that first half. But I suppose worrying from them, they had those couple of wides now coming up to half time, and from a TU Dublin point of view, if you're still 2 points down after playing into the gale force breeze that's out there, you'll be giving yourself a right chance in the second half.
Mar looking to get this ball down into the corner, but it's well blocked off there, and it looks like the maroon and white jerseys are there, but the teal jerseys are there also. It looks like NUIG though have won it back somehow, and trying to get out of the element there and coming straight through there. Rachel Hanfey trying to get down that ball. The Galway crowd are happy. Ironic jeers they feel because Colin McAllister, they reckon, has been harsh on them, but no question about that. A free with Gabby Couch crashing into the back of Rachel Hanfey.
Yeah, balances out the one for the Galway crowd that maybe Rachel Hanfey gave away herself here in front of us a few minutes ago. But again, really strong, really good, robust defending there from NUIG, and they're really composed back there, and when they do turn over the ball, they're working it really, really well up to that inside full forward line where they're able to create the chances.
So long ball coming in then from Clodagh McCormack over into the far corner, trying to get a little touch on it there was their corner forward Leah Heffernan, with nothing from the ref, even though the bench was crying for it. Ball over to the far side now where Kerry Finnegan has get out in front of Katie Manning. Finnegan knocking it down into the corner now, looking to turn back inside now, or TU Dublin. Good moving here by Mar over into the corner here now. Chance maybe for McCormack. The Lockheed Shamrocks and Antrim player has advantage, knocking the ball in. It's going to be called back. And it's a chance for the aforementioned Roisin McCormack to have a knock at this and put only a point between them as we head into injury time here at the end of this first half.
Yeah, I think that probably was a better ball in from TU Dublin. They spread that NUIG defence. The ball went from right to left, and then Roisin McCormack cut back in with it, drew the foul and had the shot when she knew she had the advantage. So a chance for her, and as I said, it'll really put them within touch and distance just before the half-time break.
TU Dublin though seem to have tied up Tiffany Fitzgerald, and that means then the ball in down here in the forward lines is not as good as it was early doors.
No, they're not able to work the scores the same as they had originally. NUIG have been working lovely loose balls, slow quick to hand ball down, working it through the lines up to that full forward line. But as you said, they've tied up Tiffany Fitzgerald there, and that seems to have had an impact on the knock-on effect up front.
So a point there from Roisin McCormack from that free brings them on to 4 points. Points from Niamh Keenahan, Ava Dillon, Aisling Maher and Roisin McCormack now for TU Dublin. Points from NUIG have come from Tiffany Fitzgerald, Tegan Canning and Leah Heffernan. As this ball now trying to be driven forward here by Rachel Hanafy. The referee says that she was being fouled. It's going to be a free in, and maybe a chance here now for Tiffany Fitzgerald, but the last 3 opportunities she's had have been on this side of the field, and 2 of them unfortunately have gone wide. Yeah,
and I just see Bill McCormack there waving at her to put it all the way across the goal, so he wants it way over towards the motorway side of things, I'd say here, on the hope that it might swing back in, and at least, at the very little to keep it in play and give the inside forwards a chance.
Absolutely, she should be probably aiming for, I'd imagine, over on the far side there, Fiona Guiney. So she's going to connect with it, just didn't let it up too high, and she took her eye off it then, and eventually did make some connection with it, but it's going to be turned over there, and another missed opportunity, I think, for NUIG, who had a fine opening quarter, but just they've hit the buffers there in the last while. Is trying to get forward here now, Sophie O'Dwyer. Maybe they could be level going in at half time. Ball is going to be taken out and away. It's going to be trying to be kicked forward, getting in there, trying to hold it up. Molly Mannion was trying to dig it out there, but TU Dublin have got in there, I think, with Ava Dillon. Ball is on the ground, but it's taken away then. In fairness, Clodagh McCormack got in there somehow and knocked it away, but again, it's TU Dublin with a number of players there. Orla Gray and Niamh Cannon, either one of them could have picked it up. They come into the middle now. McAllister looking at his watch as the ball breaks forward. Niamh Keenahan coming out to crash ball is flicked inside, chance to level it up here. Ball is with Finnegan spins away, looking to pop the pass. It wasn't a great one to O'Dwyer. She has to double back and it'll play it down into the corner. Chance still here now for TU Dublin, looking to chase forward here now with it. Could be a goal opportunity. TU Dublin going with steps there. Colin McAllister, no question about it, as they tried to break through. Chance was opening up there, no question about it, for TU Dublin, but overstepped there by their number 14 Aisling Maher, and I suppose you'd have to credit the NUIG defence there, that they were able to just close off that angle. Yeah, Leah Burke read it really, really well. Saw Maher having made the run inside and opted to stick and go out to her, rather than hold her ground inside and let maybe Maher build up a head of steam before she got to her, and defended it really, really well and just forced the overcarry. So a let off there for NUIG, as you said, just coming into half time. So breeze has dropped a little bit here now as it turns out, but I do see the tricolour still blowing a breeze as Colin McAllister, referee, calls time on it then here at half time. So with 33 minutes gone, 5 points to 4. Just quickly, Elaine, looking at that first half, NUIG got off to such a great start. Like, all their scores came in the opening 15 minutes. There were 5 points to 2 up at one stage. They have, I think TU Dublin have just got to grips with things around the middle a bit more. And despite the fact that they're playing with a withdrawn player, they've, I suppose, any chance they've got realistically to have taken.
Yeah, I think TU Dublin would probably be happier. They're going in now only a point down, having played second fiddle for a lot of that first 20 minutes. As you said, they got to grips there with the NUIG attack, and Orla Gray has gone out onto Tegan Canning, so I suppose that's had a huge fact. So they'll be happy, I think, in that dressing room at half time to only be that point down. As I said, the wind seems to have dropped a little bit, and I suppose that's the danger there with a shower rain like that. It does sometimes knock the breeze out of it. So whether TU Dublin will have the full effect of it in the second half or not, it's hard to tell, but I think they'll probably be the happier. As I said, NUIG dominate for a lot of that first half, and yet they're only the point up at half time, so that'll be a little bit worrying for Kevin Connolly and his management team. But look, I think they've shown that they can pull together some super camogie when they get going and when they build up. But as you said, once they got to grips maybe with Fitzgerald around the middle of the field, that in ball into the full forward line hasn't really been as good, and they just haven't been able to capitalise on the scoreboard. So I'd say we're in for an intriguing second half here. Yeah, an intriguing second half. I'd imagine we've been told there that there has been a jersey swap. We weren't informed of it just before the off there. So Kerry Finnegan is wearing number 11 for TU Dublin, and Ava Dillon is wearing 10. So just in case, but apologies again, we're just being informed of that situation. But NUIG anyway are the ones who lead here at half time. The points from Tiffany Fitzgerald, she got 2 from play, 1 from a free, but she's had a couple of wides and 1 drop short. Tegan Canning and Leah Heffernan have also got the points for them. They all came in the opening quarter. TU Dublin, Niamh Keenahan, Kerry Finnegan, Roisin McCormack and Aisling Maher with the points for them. They'll be happier going in at half time, you would imagine, as Elaine has said. Bill McCormack just probably telling them now to make the most of the elements and the play that they've had so far to lead here at the half time break. So we'll take a break here for the moment, but it is NUIG who lead by 5 points to 4. Right, you're welcome back here to the WAT Sports Campus. As you can see there, good shot from Luke as the WAT Arena here, just of course off the motorway. It's a fine location, fine setup for these, of course, camogie finals. But I'm joined here by a lady who didn't have to travel too far, but she's probably busy celebrating over the last few hours anyway, because she was here yesterday representing TU Dublin. So you're out here supporting your teammates today, I suppose, as well, because you've trained in the same weather as I would imagine everything. It's Ruth Ryan, of course, from the Thomastown Club in Kilkenny, because you're here with us because TU Dublin won yesterday, defeated UL in the Malagon final by 9 points to 4. Tell us about that, how that went.
We had a great win yesterday, but UL, they were very strong, and the weather here, God, it was an awful day yesterday with the rain, and it was tiring on us, but we got there in the end and we held on to the win the whole way through, so we got lucky then.
Well, you got there. You obviously made your own look in lots of ways, as you said, having to deal with the weather conditions and so forth, but like, tell us about the movements that have been made. Obviously, you know, everyone would remember DIT would have challenged, obviously, at all levels in camogie in recent times. Now as TU Dublin, you know, the setup and how things are developing there, how are things going?
Yeah, the camogie in the college after coming on are huge in the last number of years, and for us to even have 2 teams going, and then for the 2 teams to get to the finals this weekend is just a huge achievement for us. So yeah.
So, you know, you'd imagine then within the you know, the GA department within the college, they must be delighted, especially when you're under the new moniker of TU Dublin, to have the 2E here. You know, I'm sure there's great delight back in the college.
Yeah, it's great to promote the sport, and like today we have like great county players playing as well here on the Purcell team as well. So like that really motivates more students to come on next year and keep building up the team that we have going.
Tell us about training then. I assume you're on the same pitches or training together or whatever. Would that happen?
A little bit. Then we started training ourselves when it came more into championship, and we have some of our own trainers, Ronan and all the lads, they train us, and then Bill and Kevin look after the girls on the Purcell team more. But yeah, we were training all since we went back to college, and this was the goal for both teams, to try to get to the finals.
And great to be back playing, Ruth, I would imagine, after the year, I suppose, last year. I'm not sure where you are at this stage in college, but...
Yeah, I'm in 3rd year now, so we missed all the camogie last year altogether in college, and it got cut short on us in 1st year then nearly, so we were glad we were able to get the full year out this year.
And great to enjoy the weekend, I would imagine, here. And
get the full weekend. Both of us down here in Waterford, like 2 teams down, so it's great.
And finally, before we get back on the action here, you know, sponsors-wise and everything like that, I'm sure there's people maybe you want to thank for supporting you and getting here for this weekend, is there?
Yeah, we got a lovely new set of jerseys on both teams. So CISC, they looked after our jerseys, so like we were happy to get the new set, and we got to keep them now and all after getting to the final, so it's great for us.
Oh, very nice. They're a nice set of jerseys.
Yeah, they're lovely jerseys, yeah.
Well, congratulations on everything you achieved, and well done. And give us a quick call. Do you think you'll be able to pull it back here?
God, I hope so. They're after catching up with Galway now, so hopefully we're able to get another win into this weekend.
That's great. Thanks indeed, Ruth Ryan, for joining us here this afternoon. Congratulations. In Malagon Cup winners yesterday were TU Dublin, and they defeated UL. Thanks indeed, Ruth, from Thomastown. And we're getting ready to get back underway. Very little time to draw a breath. Colin McAllister back out ready with the action here at 5 points to 4. And thanks to Ruth Ryan again, as ball breaks here now, and the opportunity comes for TU Dublin maybe to get matters up and running. But that's a lovely flick by Rachel Hannafy there, taking it off the hurl of Jodie Couch. And it's going to try and be picked up there. Couch is back in there trying to win it again, and it looks like Mar is going to drive this ball forward. Trying to get on it there is Kerry Finnegan. Getting the ball on now here. Aisling Mar going to have a shot. She's put it over the bar, is it? Yeah, it's up and over the umpire. And that's a perfect start for TU Dublin.
Yeah, and a shot with a little bit of intent there. You know, she didn't just tap that one over the bar. There was pace and power on it to send maybe a warning shot to NUIG that if Aisling Mar gets the chance in there, she's well capable of taking bigger scores. So right back on level terms now.
So ball over on the far side now from that puck out. Going to be interested to see what that breeze does maybe for this play, but definitely TU Dublin bit between the teeth at the start of the off now, putting down a little bit of a marker for NUIG. Ball is in a bit of a ruck here now on the edge of 65. Colin McAllister just stepping off it there, having a look at action. Eventually going to try and pick it up and get out there was Jodie Couch. Referee says that there was a bit of a kick went in there, and calling it back for a free to TU Dublin. Going to be Roisin McCormack and have a shot off at this. Roisin, of course, from the Lochiel in Antrim. Knocking this ball good and long. It's a dangerous ball in. It's going to be watched all the way, and the defence there flicking it down. It could have been pulled on there by Sophie O'Dwyer, but the ball breaks, and NUIG now looking to step out of it. Nice little pass out here to McCormack. McCormack knocking it long, but who's there now? And just feel that TU Dublin, Elaine, they're reading the breaks coming that little bit better, aren't they?
Yeah, they've certainly started the second half now with more intent, and they're asking a lot of questions of NUIG. That last free from Roisin McCormack was dangerous from the time it left her hurl, and they're just starting to string the passes together that they couldn't in the first half.
Ball is knocked in and it's knocked over the bar, and that's a great bit of play there by TU Dublin, and Rachel Brennan of all people has got forward there to knock that ball over the bar.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. That's a little bit of play that they just couldn't string together in the first half, but they've managed it in this half, and that's a super score, and the pressure now on NUIG to respond.
I think it was actually maybe it was Niamh Cannon that got it. Apologies, just seen it there in the ruck. Might have been the number 6, but we'll confirm that in a minute as the ball breaks over on the far side there. Kicked out. And it's Sophie O'Dwyer looking to have a shot off. Tight enough angle as she judged the wind. Oh, it looks like, no, just out to the right and wide. Sophie's not afraid to take her shot on, but unfortunately has 3 wides to her name.
Yeah, she's creating all the chances inside, and she's a really dangerous forward, as we've seen with the Kilkenny intermediate team during the year last year. And as I said, first touch is superb, and she's getting into those positions. They just haven't quite come off yet for her.
So ball to break here. And TU Dublin look like they've come out a completely different team. They're just on top of the ground all of a sudden.
Yeah, and all that composure we spoke about in the NUIG defence there in the first half has come out in that TU Dublin defence in the second half. They're the ones that are controlling it. Orla Gray has really stood up there in the half back line. Her move on to Tegan Canning there in the first half really quietened Tegan Canning's influence, and Orla Gray herself now is starting to storm into this game from the half back line.
Ball breaking here now, and opportunity maybe to pick it up here is Tiffany Fitzgerald. Probably going to need a bit of leadership now from her, but that ball flicked out of her grasp by Kerry Finnegan. Kerry was appealing that it came off of Fitzgerald, but it's a sideline ball then that's going to be taken here by NUIG. And Elaine, if you're Kevin Connolly out there having a look at things, where do you think they need to shore things up now?
I think they really need to get to grips with on that half forward line, on the TU Dublin half back line. They're the ones that have really stormed into it. We saw Niamh Gannon get up the field there for a score a few minutes ago. As I said, Orla Gray has really grown into the game. So I suppose where NUIG were dominant in that first half, that's now where TU Dublin have started to become dominant. So, they need to get maybe Tiffany Fitzgerald into the game a little bit more, get Tegan Canning maybe, move her away from Orla Gray, maybe try and get her into a little bit of space.
Knocking this ball down long then, looking for a break off Tegan Canning, but TU Dublin definitely have the bit between the teeth here. Obviously looking to try and emulate their colleagues in the Mulligan Cup, but it's Tiffany Fitzgerald flicking the ball back, trying to drive on with now Fiona Guiney. Nice little ball here now. Miliosa Walsh looking to get onto it, but it's TU Dublin, they're back there in numbers, looking to flick the ball out here. Time now for Niamh Keenan, knocking the ball up along the wing. And don't think I'm anyway underrating Cavan Camogie, but great to see somebody like Niamh Keenan able to stand up here and get out and play with teams and club players or county players as well that probably would be operating at levels above her where she is with Cavan at the moment.
Absolutely, the counties, players when they go to a county set up have no say as such in what grade they're playing at, and you often wonder would I be able to test myself against her? How would I get on in the senior competitions or whatever the competitions above are? And I think Ashbourne is a real leveller like that. It doesn't matter what club you're from, what county you're from, what grade you play with either club or county. Once you're out on an Ashbourne field, it's all the one. And as I said beforehand, it's often those lesser known players, the ones from maybe clubs or counties down the grades, that are actually the heroes of Ashbourne weekends.
Yeah, well, fair play. And Niamh Keenan has done her part for TU Dublin here at the moment as it is anyway, because she got a point on the board in the opening stages of the first half. And TU Dublin lead now after 2 opening scores at the start. Quick fire points from Aisling Maher and Niamh Gannon. 2, of course, have Dublin's senior panel. And a bit of a swap going on here now. Looks like Hannah Scott has come out a little bit further as that free is taken there by Roisin McCormick. And if Tiffany Fitzgerald didn't judge the win, Roisin McCormick has judged that very, very well. And now all of a sudden they have a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, and look, they're full value for it since half time there. They have been the only team in the competition. They've asked all the questions and now they've made a count on the scoreboard. As you said, Tegan Canning gone into full forward now and Hannah Scott coming out. So a little bit of trepidation in the TU Dublin backroom team as to whether Orla Gray would follow Tegan Canning back in there or not. She hasn't, so I suppose from an NUIG point of view now, you want to bypass Orla Gray in that half back line and get that ball into Tegan Canning inside.
Here's McCormick now, an opportunity, shortens the grip, puts it up and over the bar, and all of a sudden TU Dublin, I think, just pushed down the foot on the accelerator, and it could be about to head out over the top of the hill, I think.
Yeah, they seem to be the ones with all the energy now, and you just feel that NUI Galway starting to lag a little bit, lacking a little bit of energy from maybe midway through the first half, which was what let TU Dublin get back into the game just before half time. And as I said, since half time it has been all Dublin, but you feel that maybe there is a bit of a kick in NUIG, that if they can get a little bit of ball now into Tegan Canning on the edge of the square, that maybe they'll make that count.
Roisin McCormick then with 2 points in a minute, one from a place ball, one from a free, or one from play I should say, one place ball, one from play, and she's put that gap now, which is sizable enough. Very quickly they've turned a 1 point deficit into a 3 point lead here, as Colin McAllister calls for a throw ball here. Hannah Scott now out and winning that, but it's going to be 2 other players that's going to be thrown in. Looks like it's Molly Mannion is in there trying to win that ball. She's held off it though by Niamh Keenahan. Ball is on the ground. Niamh Keenan, of course, as said, with her sister, won Nancy Murray Cup, and then, got into a final of the Premier Junior, of course, last year with everything with COVID and stuff like that, or the year before, I should say, and then got to the Division 4 final and won it against Roscommon. We were up in Longford that day commenting on that, and Keenan sisters stood out that day as well for Cavan. But, that ball kicked forward there by Kerry Finnegan. And it's going to be a sideline cut that's going to be taken by Clodagh McCormack. And NUIG now need something to happen for them. Need a score of some sort, because they haven't scored since the 15th minute. Yeah,
and that's where they were really dominant in that first half, is in repelling back the TU Dublin puck out. So you feel if they could get down, get a score, and maybe try and push TU Dublin back into the own half of the field. But as it stands, it's TU Dublin are asking all the questions.
Great bit of play by Rachel Hannafy. It was also previous, just a great bit of play by Jodie Couch. She might be a diminutive character, but she went out through 3 NUIG players there with just a little bit of a drop at the shoulder.
Yeah, left in a hefty shoulder there for a player of a smaller stature. So, but a strength and condition in the Dublin setup obviously coming to the fore there.
Here's Sister Gabby getting out and moving here now, giving it to Roisin McCormack. And if she gets going, McCormack will light this place up. Lovely flick ball though. Here's a chance out for Sophie O'Dwyer. Gets away from her a little bit, but she's inside Niamh Black. Comes back out. She's had 4 shots at goal. She's finally got one up and over the bar. Sophie O'Dwyer, well, it was set up nicely for her by McCormack's run.
Yeah, and a really clever finish by her, in fairness. There was a half chance possibly for a goal there if she got it up onto it in the first time, but when it didn't, and when NUIG got the defenders back, Niamh Black was between her and the goal, so safest option was just to put it over the bar and kick out that lead another little bit.
Tea supplied for you here thanks to Sheila Donoghue. Hilda Breslin with us here down in front of us have sent it up to us, as we have an opportunity here now to break another break in play. Colin McAllister. Keep the purple snack for later.
Could be a long day yet.
You're watching the Purcell Cup Final then here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. Brought to you in production with Entray. He's trying to get this ball out now, and a lovely bit of play there by Tiffany Fitzgerald, getting onto that ball now, driving forward. It's going to be let loose here. Fitzgerald on the end of the hurl. It's got away from her, and it's a good bit of play by the TU Dublin defence, rejecting that very, very well. And I have to credit Niamh Gannon. She stayed with her all the way, and now TU Dublin looking to break out. They have a little bit of an overlap, and Gannon is onto the break again. She's the one to dispossess Tiffany Fitzgerald, driving this ball in. This will be some score if it goes over the bar. Gannon all the way with the score of the game, is it? That's a phenomenal effort. Gannon robs Fitzgerald at the other end, gets on the move, knocks it over the bar from fully 50 metres out.
Yeah, it looked to be the build-up and the score that NUIG so badly needed down on her left-hand side there, but Niamh Gannon not happy to just dispossess the opportunity down here. Got all the way up, followed it all the way, got on the end of it, and a super score from distance.
Absolutely phenomenal effort from Niamh Gannon. Where did she get the burst in the lungs for that? Tracked Fitzgerald all the way, kind of took her out of the scoring zone, then took the ball off her, then get involved in the play again, takes the ball forward and from 50 metres over the bar. I hope we get to see that point again in a catchment of a replay there with Owen in the next couple of minutes. NUIG about to introduce a sub, and they need something from somewhere, and it's Air Court player Anna Larkin coming in. And here's that chance now, Gannon getting onto this ball. It just opened up a gap, but to take on that effort with the wind the way it has been swirling around, she judged it majestically. Fine score from Niamh Gannon.
And even with a half a hurl, she didn't even feel like she had the full force behind her. There's certainly more in her, and that's the danger. That half back line, I said we're growing into it, but not just as defenders. That's 2 points now for Niamh Gannon in the second half.
Ball knocked in here now, and NUIG, you would feel probably need a goal now in the next couple of minutes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because as I said, since half time it has been all TU Dublin. They've asked all the questions. They've been the ones up front, led mainly by Roisin McCormack here, and the interplay, and Kerry Finnegan has been huge in it as well. And when you have a centre back popping up with 2 points as well, NUIG really need to respond and do so quickly.
Ball breaks, and trying to get in there and win it now. Aisling Maher looking to spin away, popping the ball in, but it's wasn't maybe a chance that was on there, and It's her second wide. She's 2 points to her name.
Yeah, and NUIG just looking to restart quickly there, but just the heads down at them in a little bit of lack of energy. I know, they went extra time during the week, so whether that's having an impact at the moment on them or not, whether a little bit fresher legs of TU Dublin, they certainly seem to have that little bit more energy at the moment anyway.
They need some of their leaders to step up, no question, and Mannion is trying to do that, and she is fouled, I think, or is he going to call a throw ball? No, it's a throw ball there, so it remains 10 points to 5. NUIG haven't scored since the 15th minute of the game. And at that stage, they led by 5 points to 2. So TUD have turned it all the way around. 5-4 was at half time and have come out in a huge start to this second half. And led by Roisin McCormack, and I think directed by Niamh Gannon, who's chipped in with 2 points as well. Really, TU Dublin have put one hand on the Purcell Cup, I think.
Absolutely, unless Tegan Canning now can produce something in here herself, and Fitzgerald, as we said, had been hugely influential in the first half for NUIG, and they look to combine again here now.
The UCD and DCU teams are out having a look at this as this ball comes forward with Tiffany Fitzgerald now having to take the charge on. No question about it, she was fouled there by Niamh Heffernan. She wasn't going to get in too easy. I think it's going to be a card for one of them anyway. There was 2 of them involved. I think Gannon was in there and also was Heffernan. And it's going to be a card for, it's in fact the number 8, Jodie Couch, picks up that card.
Yeah,
she was the one the judge didn't have made the foul.
I think Anne even would have been happy to take it at that stage,
Yeah,
just to stop Fitzgerald's advance, just to take one for the team and prevent a goal at all costs,
So as you can see, plenty of teal jerseys in front of Tiffany Fitzgerald, the Kilkenny and Young Ireland's player, standing over this, and NUIG need this now. Fitzgerald let it go away from her again a little bit, but she got that. And the first score, we're on the 15-minute of the second half. It's the first score since the 15-minute of the first half.
Yeah, and it was an easier free. She'd had those couple of frees in the first half. They weren't easy ones, and that probably knocked her confidence a little bit. She's starting to build up a little bit of a head of steam again, and that free was a nice way to tip it over. So if they can repel back this TU Dublin puck out, they'll give themselves the right chance with 15 minutes to go.
So 10 points to 6 it is then. Final quarter upcoming. And as I said to the UCD and DCU teams out having a look at this game as they get ready for the Ashburn Cup that throws in at 2 o'clock. We'll be on air with that from about 10 to 2. It's on a separate link to what we're on at the moment, so make sure and check out the CCAO Camogie and all their social media channels there. But it will be on the Camogie Association YouTube channel, so that all coming up from 2 o'clock with, of course, UCD looking to win back the Ashburn Cup. They've won 35 in all, but they haven't won one since 2008. DCU have never won it. And, looking both of them to make a bit of history and break and finish the gaps. Of course, UL and WAT are the ones that have dominated since 2008. Neither of them here never made the semi-finals, in fact, as they were defeated within their group. Not sure you would have predicted probably that DCU and UCD would have come out, but anyway, we're focusing on TUD and NUIG, and that ball is dropped in there by Aisling Marr, and it's into the grateful hands of Fiona Ryan, knocking it out here to the wing. There's Fitzgerald looking to come forward, but that's well done there by Niamh Heffernan. Sends the ball back down the wing. Gabby Couch just in front of the her home dugout there, trying to get the ball to Sophie O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer taking it down the wing, keeping it away from the attentions of Sarah Guinan, flicking the ball in from a tight angle. Dangerous ball caught in there. Well done, Fiona Ryan. Took a good stance there. There's a TU Dublin player down inside the square, but the ball has been flicked on anyway. But in there, Jodie Couch, who's had a big second half, I feel, flicks the ball along. Got a good shout there from Keenan. Keenan from fully 45 out, drops the ball up and over the bar. The umpire had the hand out before it even got to the post. It was on its way. Good, have to say, partnership there between Couch and Keenan.
Yeah, and TU Dublin working really, really hard to win balls back. Both of those balls on occasion looked like they'd been won by NUIG, and they weren't. They were turned over, and TUD super score again from distance, and you just feel they were happy there in that first half to just absorb as much as they could. Delighted to go in the point down and then just kick on with that breeze in their back in the second half, and that's exactly what they've done.
TU Dublin looking to win their third Purcell Cup under the name of DIT. They won in 2010 and 2017, lost in the final in 2020 to UCD. And of course, UCD are in the Ashburn final. But, well, They swept all before them as they got to this stage. It's that wide down at the far end in here for TU Dublin. And again, bit of a let off in some way. I know it's a 5-point lead, but some of the recent wides by TU Dublin haven't been great ones, you'd have to say.
No, and they're ones that if you were to lose this game, you'd look back and say that was a period where we dominated, where we probably should have pushed on our advantage, and as it stands they haven't. And the more of those they miss, I suppose, the more it gives NUIG the chance and the incentive to just maybe drive on again and see if they can create a score. And look, if they gave themselves a goal, they give themselves a real chance.
Well, Scott does that very, very well. Won her own ball and flicking it inside then, but it's well tracked there by Niamh Keenan, who's covered some amount of ground out there as well. Playing the ball over here, and that looked like Tiffany Fitzgerald crashed into the back of the player. No fouls to the referee. I don't know how he missed that, and then there's a foul committed, and realistically it should be a free out for TU Dublin, I would feel.
I think he's indicated the other way. It looks to be a free in he's given.
Well, he's given a free in for the second foul, but the first foul to me was Tiffany Fitzgerald into the back of Christine Shanahan here, but it's going to be a free in for NUIG, and it's a chance here again for Fitzgerald to narrow the gap here, and it just keeps it interesting heading into the last 10 or 12 minutes here. Yeah,
and as you said, look, if TU Dublin had taken those couple of chances that they had down there, you'd feel a point from a free down here wouldn't be a huge score, whereas as it stands, if it's scored, it puts it back to 4. It's a 2-score game from there, and just gives NUIG just a little bit of an incentive again.
Orla Gray is the one that's standing in front of Tiffany Fitzgerald, but it's a chance for Fitzgerald to get her second point in recent minutes then, and narrowing the gap here. Tiffany Fitzgerald from a tight angle, that's up and over the bar from our angle, and it's a bit of momentum change.
Yeah, you can feel it again. As I said, another huge score for Tiffany, a good point from and not an easy free as well, considering she'd missed the 2 in the first half, but her confidence is certainly back up, and Tegan Canning looks to be full of a little bit of energy now, having come out from that full forward line, and Hannah Scott, we saw what she's capable of down the sideline there a second ago, so NUIG still with a couple of aces up their sleeves maybe.
Looked like a foul, I have to say, on the puck out there from the TU Dublin goalkeeper, but wasn't picked up on, and play was allowed to continue anyway on the far end. Trying to draw forward now our NUIG. Maybe a little bit of impetus coming their way now. Charging forward here now, Rachel Hannafy needing to step into the game, being tracked by Keenan. Looking to get inside, Keenan fouls her, and now all of a sudden, when that bit of momentum changes, if you get a run, it looks like in TU Dublin, maybe tiredness and everything now setting in, they might foul.
Yeah, look, and it looks like, NUIG's key players who maybe have been looking a little bit tired, a little bit ragged there for the last few minutes, the likes of Rachel Hannafy, Molly Mannion and Tiffany Fitzgerald have all had big parts in the last few minutes there. So, as I said, when those scores keep ticking over, be they from frees or from play, and you just edge that little bit closer, suddenly there's a new burst of energy that comes, and, you find yourself within striking distance, and it's an Ashburn or a Purcell Cup final, it's an All-Ireland final. There's not going to be nothing easy in the last few minutes.
Here's Fitzgerald again, having a shot at the post. She doesn't catch it well. Ball is stopped inside. Anyone could have happened there, but there's enough teal jerseys around. Missed opportunity in a way, but it could have ended up anywhere, including the back of the net. But it's out here now, and a let off in some ways for TU Dublin. Shanahan gets his ball out now. Chance for Dublin to come forward, but looked like there was a foul there on that ball by the Dublin full-back, Rachel Brennan. And looked like it was taken out over the line here. Linesman said it's okay. Kevin Connolly is throwing his hands up here, not happy. Referee said that was a legal chop across by Rachel Hannafy. But I have to say, I think NUIG crowd, there was a couple of fouls there that has been missed.
Yeah, certainly there's a couple of feels if there was a free to come that's the one that shouldn't have been blown. Maybe there was definitely a ball thrown up and caught again, and that one was dangerously close to the sideline, just in front of us, both facing the sideline here, so the crowd had a right view of them. And then that third one, from here it certainly looked like Rachel Hannafy got in for a super flick on the ball. Was she a little bit behind? Obviously from Colin McAllister's point of view she was, but I thought it was a super dispossession, and I thought it was really setting us up for a grandstand finish.
Yeah, strange calls there as McCormack knocks this in. It's gone out to the right a little bit, but might still work for them. A ball breaks down there, trying to get in there. Leah Burke maybe disrupted. Still trying to keep on top of the action there, but it's the TU Dublin number 9 that gets a shot off there, Niamh Keenan, and just feel there's a bit of a shot in the arm here now for NUIG a bit.
Yeah, and that was Tiffany Fitzgerald back there with that super hook. So from the free up on our left hand side here into the arena goal, right back down to the right hand side there at the far goal, she got back to get that hook. So as I said, NUIG certainly not going to give up the ghost now.
But since TU Dublin have got on to that 11 points, they've had 3 bad wides.
Yeah, they've had a couple of wides, and as I said, they're the ones that they just keep NUIG in the game and just give them that little bit of momentum and that impetus, and that's exactly what it is. And now the momentum seems to have swung, and it's NUIG that are carrying the game to TU Dublin.
So we'll be keeping an eye on maybe player of the match. I know there's lots of people maybe keeping an eye on it here at the moment. A couple of players standing out at various different stages here. Niamh Gannon probably would be an honourable mention so far anyway. I just think she's had a massive big half. Jodie Couch maybe from TU Dublin. But you'd have to say, Tiffany Fitzgerald, Molly Mannion, Rachel Hannafy all would be considered as well. I'm sure Leah Burke also.
Yeah, Leah Burke for me I think has been really outstanding today. She's caught a super ball there in the first half, contested at full back. A little bit of pressure, she's on Aisling Maher there at times, a really renowned Dublin forward, and she's done really, really well on her, and I think she's really, really held that full back line in there.
Christine Shannon having a big few minutes though. She gets it forward to McCormack. McCormack knocked it down into the corner. Could be a lovely little spin here by Aisling Maher. Maher getting inside now. This could be the end of it. Maher! Ball is blocked away. Had a chance, could have picked any spot I think in the goal, but Fiona Ryan, fair play, stood up strong, got that block on it.
Yes, super save, and that has kept NUIG in this game. A little bit of commentator's curse possibly from me there on Leah Burke, got out in front. Aisling Maher used all her experience to get in behind, and as you said, looked to have the whole goal to finish it into, but goalie stood tall, repelled the chance, and NUIG go on the attack again.
Flock of gulls have taken to the skies here with the roar that's gone up as the NUIG crowd try to get forward. Chop downs as the referee, just as Rachel Hannafy had got possession and a chance to get inside, pull back. Can't blame the referee on that situation, but because the whistle I think was to his mouth. TU Dublin player down injured, but chance out here again, and Tiffany Fitzgerald is the one that's going to take it from distance. But again, I might commit an extra NUIG player in here. There's a few more teal jerseys back there than there are maroon ones, because of breaking ball here. We're in the closing stages, anything happens here.
Yeah, and when you think of the last free that Tiffany struck, it was from closer in and it didn't make the distance, it dropped in, so you'd imagine this one is going to be dropping around the goal. And as it stands, NUIG have 4 players in there versus, is it 5 or 6 or 7 maybe from TU Dublin, so Tiffany Fitzgerald is probably someone who I'd want to push up and maybe have on the break there, and just a chance I suppose to have a look at that save again. Aisling Maher did really, really well to read the play, cut back inside. As I said, look to have the whole goal to put it into, but super save from Fiona Ryan. Stood really, really strong, and she certainly has kept NUIG in this game.
So the attention there was for Jodie Couch, who I have to say has put her body on the line at various different stages here this afternoon. But Colin McAllister now just a hand up waiting to blow the whistle. Everyone is clear, and physio's off the pitch and everything like that. So Fitzgerald with this chance, this realistically to get NUIG back in striking distance, ball dropping short, big hand needed. Scott goes up, ball breaks off her, looks the full back, getting in there to try and win it. Tegan Canning was in there trying to get it. Also though was Rachel Brennan. Brennan though was the one that was able to get the flick on it, and Christine Shannon looking to come out with it, as we said. And also Orla Gray getting that flick on. Ball has been turned over though by NUIG, pulled in the back there from the number 10 Ava Dillon, and it's a chance for a free in again here. But again, I'd be committing a few bodies in at this stage.
Yeah, sure. And there's Molly Mannion on the far side of the field getting in. Surely NUIG will push the bodies forward. We're still 25-26 minutes gone, so there's still time for them. But this ball again, you'd imagine, is going to drop in around the edge of the square, and it's NUIG need to have the bodies in there.
Well, anything can happen. This ball dropping in. It's 11 points to 7. And Tiffany Fitzgerald sends over this ball now. 5 points to her name so far. Gets a good, strong enough, but it's held up in the breeze a little bit. Ball breaks. Who's going to be under it? And it's a teal jersey again. That's been the difference with some of the breaks, though. Not too many maroon jersey picking up, but the ball might be there. Chance going to be flicked inside here by Leah Heffernan. Ball is towards the line. Guiney going for it, but it's out wide. Referee's going in though. Has he spotted something? Umpire waved it wide, and I think Colin McAllister saw a flick on it. He's given a 45, I think. Yeah. So another chance for Tiffany Fitzgerald to get this in around the house or go for the score. What would you do? You have 3.5 minutes remaining. Do you just take the score and then there's a goal in it?
Look, the breeze seems to have picked up again, and she hasn't struck the last couple of ones particularly well, so I'm not sure if it'll have the distance, but NUIG certainly have more players in around the edge of the square, and Canning is in there, Scott is in there, there's goal getters in there, so if it doesn't make the distance, they're certainly capable of getting something bigger in there. Here she goes.
So she goes for it. In fairness, has driven it in wide, unfortunately, and that is a missed chance.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, we spoke about the chances TU Dublin had when they were on top down there, but NUIG have had a couple of frees. You know, they have been long distance ones. They had that 45, but they've gotten nothing from it, and I suppose that's the worrying thing. And as we said, you know, maybe they would have been better pushing Tiffany Fitzgerald forward, letting someone from the half back line maybe come forward to strike that ball, get it into the danger area, and get your danger players like Tiffany Fitzgerald in on the edge of them.
Kerry Finnegan is back in. She had slipped off there at one stage, and Katie MacDonald is in there as well in recent times from TU Dublin. But have TU Dublin done enough though? They haven't scored since the 47th minute. That opening quarter for both teams in the halves have been the significant areas, haven't they?
They have, yeah, and a little bit of tiredness maybe then creeping in from the team that had done all the running from the first 15 minutes and allowed the other team to get back into it. And again, the difference being, I suppose, at the moment is that TU Dublin put the scores on the board in those couple of minutes coming up to half time just to narrow that gap, whereas NUIG haven't been able to make those last couple of chances count.
So we've been informed we will be told who the player of the match is, so we'll throw our moniker around who we think it might have been, but we'll get notification from the authorities here, so we'll know who will be considered. But as you said, we've thrown a few names out there, and it's been a couple of big names we said on either side, and still it could go either way here. We've minute and a half of normal time remaining, another chance for NUIG, and I just again have to feel they just have to commit now at this point.
Yeah, and you can see the body language of Kevin Connolly and his management team on the sideline there. That's what it is. It's getting forward. Get forward.
Sophie, I should say it was Meliosa Walsh has got that.
And that's exactly what they've needed. That's what they've got. You know, the free from someone in the half back line there actually was Rachel Hannafy, I think, took it, but found the player in space. A super take from her and a super score. And again, NUIG just getting themselves that little bit closer.
So Melissa has put that ball over the bar. Took it well, I have to say, from the free from Rachel Hannafy. Stepped inside, and now is a chance. The ball flicked away. It needed to go at the hand. NUIG now just need to use possession a little bit better. Game management all important here. Ball gets away there from Kerry Finnegan, but she gets back on it. NUIG looking to get the numbers around, and now have another chance maybe. Referee saying that Jodie Couch come in there, and all of a sudden maybe some decisions just going NUIG's way.
Yeah, Kerry Finnegan really unlucky there. That last ball just held up long enough in the ground to give NUIG the chance to get back onto it, and they know now, they feel that they're still in with a chance here.
Croke Park yesterday we saw two late interventions that saw victories for teams. Will we see one here today as Niamh Black tries to get forward, was held up there illegally, trying to kick it on there. Rachel Hannafy might still work out. Fitzgerald trying to go down it, looked like she got a bit of a nudge, but Colin McAllister is not too far away, he's closer to it than I am, and he saw nothing wrong, but it's scooped up, and it's NUIG, they're coming forward here now. It's her Kate Manning, I should say. Ball taken away from her. She tried to go on a bit of a solo run and needed to have her numbers around her. Ball is knocked forward now. Not too many forward for TU Dublin. Trying to get it is Aisling Maher. She's been tracked there, I have to say, by Leah Burke, who's doing very, very well. Helped out now by Sarah Guinan, but it's still worked in there by Aisling Maher. Ball across, and this is a chance to finish it off here now. Aoife Heffernan steps outside, taps it up, and taps it over the bar. And from very, very little, all the effort being made by NUIG, TU Dublin just had the right person, just took a gamble there, you'd have to say, and Aoife Heffernan gets the score.
Yeah, and you know, Aisling Maher did so well out on the sideline here, won it ahead of the two NUIG players, did really, really well to cross it across field, and I suppose NUIG had put all their energy into getting forward, getting the numbers up, and just caught on the counter-attack.
Still coming though, Orla Maher, the joint captain, looking to knock this ball into the direction of their forwards. Then ball taken away from number 13 Leah Heffernan though, and TU Dublin look like they've shut down again here. They were rocking there a little bit, as we said, and Colin McAllister decides that's it, game is done and dusted. And despite the effort of NUIG, it was that 6 points ultimately at the start of the second half that TU Dublin hit NUIG with. It was just too much of a mountain then.
Yeah, they just came out like a totally different team in that second half. They really kicked on from straight away from the throw-in, and as you said, put 6 points on the board, and you know, left NUIG searching for scores. Hadn't scored for the second 15 minutes of that first half or the first 15 minutes of that second half, and you know, as opposed to when NUIG were on top in the first 15 minutes of the opening half, they didn't make a count on the scoreboard, whereas TUD did. They got their scores up and they really held on. And look, a couple of worrying moments for them, I suppose, coming near the end when they'd missed those couple of opportunities and left NUIG in it. And credit to them, they rallied around again. And maybe you feel had one or two of those longer range frees, maybe been a little bit closer in, and maybe within Fitzgerald's range if she'd put them over, and they could have got themselves to a score or two closer. But overall, I think TU Dublin probably deserving winners of the Purcell Cup here today.
Yeah, so they win their third, I suppose, under TU Dublin is their first, with DIT is their third and all, and up now to Sigerson next year. And what a weekend it's been for TU Dublin and the camogie setup within the college, and both teams getting here to the finals weekend and winning both titles. Yeah,
it's a super for a college with the tradition, as I said, of DIT would have had with the Purcell Cup, and to come here today and I suppose having won yesterday's team, a little bit of pressure on maybe today's team not to be the losing team going back to the college this week, but a huge performance from them, and it's great for camogie, to see the other colleges coming through and building on the successes, and you'd hope they'd go on to have a huge impact on the Ashburn in the coming years.
So as you can see on our camera there, some of the NUIG girls commiserating with each other and so forth, but I think if we zone in on the TU Dublin crew, we can see them there all excited and posing for pictures now and everything. Ultimately, sticking with it with the breeze and everything like that, sticking with it, and fighting back towards the end of that first half, and then the quick fire, like 2 scores in the first, say, 3 minutes of the second half. It went from a 1 point deficit to a 1 point lead, and then they just built on that. Obviously Bill McCormick was, as you said, happy enough going in here at half time that they were in touch.
Yeah, and as you said, they quickly turned that 1 point deficit into a 4 point surplus within that first couple of minutes, and really asked the questions of NUIG. And I suppose we spoke about the composure and how well NUIG dealt with their defence in the first half, but TU Dublin did exactly the same in the second half and probably got more benefit from it. Orla Gray stormed into the game. Niamh Gannon got forward for those 2 super points, and I think when you have a centre back getting forward like that and shooting 2 scores like that, it really drives everybody else on. And up front, Kerry Finnegan got through an ocean of work. Roisin McCormick was busy and dangerous throughout, and Sophie Dwyer was always dangerous, had those couple of wides, but eventually got that really good point. And what an important point that was when the game came down to that 3 points coming near the end.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Standout players for you feel? I know we mentioned a few there with about 10 minutes to go, but there was some big displays, and in tough conditions, some big displays from players.
Yeah, in tough conditions, and when you think NUIG are coming off the back of an extra time semi-final win during the week as well, it's a huge demand on players, and they're involved with county and club setups as well. I suppose from a Galway point of view, you couldn't fault Fiona Ryan the goal. Leah Burke, a fullback, I thought was outstanding as well. Midfield, Rachel Hanfey and Tiffany Fitzgerald were 2 key players, and when they were combining in that first half, they looked unstoppable. And credit to TU Dublin, they put the shackles on them and they got the dividends for it. And up front, I suppose Tegan Canning and Molly Mannix, although she didn't wear an 11, she wasn't playing at centre forward, but she too really brought the game to TU Dublin. And then from the Dublin point of view, I suppose, look, they had heroes all over the field as you tend to do when you win. Look, I think that half back line really settled into that second half. Orla Gray, Niamh Gannon and Niamh Heffernan, and around the middle of the field, Keenan and Couch were really busy, and as I said, just counteracted Hanafy and Fitzgerald. And up front, Roisin McCormick thought was really outstanding, and Aisling Maher did so well with that last one, won it really well, got that super ball across the goal, and that was the real insurance point at the end. So heroes all over.
Yeah, just see Sean Malloy going down there to drag the TU Dublin players away. That of course Jodie Couch, Orla Gray are the ones heading for. Orla Gray, the captain of the TU Dublin, and she's carrying a bit of a limp there. I think she put her body on the line as long with Christine Shannon. I just thought on occasion there, NUIG, there were 2 players definitely that on occasion bodies were on the line, weren't they? Yeah,
and look, there was no questions asked or given out there today. It was a tough game. As we said, conditions are tough. Even the pitch has torn up a little bit in that first. It just shows how heavy underfoot conditions were, and I suppose both these teams coming off huge semi-finals during the week as well, so it is a huge physical demand. And I suppose when it gets to an All-Ireland final then, and it's right there coming down the home straight and coming on the line, you will put your body on the line, and certainly there couldn't be any of the players there today faulted for their efforts, and certainly gave their all for both their colleges.
Well, we're going to take a break from our duties here for a minute, and we'll be following the TU Dublin team as they head up to the presentation area, which is down in the balcony area here of the WIT Arena, a fine facility here, and we'll be hearing from the captain Orla Gray, and we'll hear from the management setup as well after the encounter. So we're just going to take a break from our commentary position here for the moment. Do stay with us. As I said, we will hear from the TU Dublin camp on a victorious weekend it has been for them. Ultimately, they now have the Purcell Cup in their back pocket, heading back up the M9 this evening. So for the moment here, full time, as you can see on our screen there, it is TU Dublin who've come out on top in the Purcell Cup final by 12 points to 8.
Here to Wish Arena for our Ashburn weekend. I want to congratulate both teams there on what was a really thrilling Purcell Cup final, and well done to both teams. I commend you both. And I want to welcome all our spectators here today who have travelled down to the Wish Arena, to all our volunteers, to all our officials here to make today possible. And I also want to thank the Wish Arena and all the staff and management here to make sure everything has been running as smoothly as possible. So we have two presentations to make. We have our Player of the Match, which has been kindly sponsored by Sheridan's Trophies in Kilkenny, and I'm going to ask Hilda Breslin Uachtaráin Cumann Camogiacht to present it to our Player of the Match, which is Jodie Crouch.
What do I do?
Oh yeah, of course. That's great. Brilliant.
Well done. Thank you. Where do I go? All right.
So I won't delay you any longer, girls. You've had a great weekend. You're O'Meligan Cup champions yesterday, and now I want to invite up Orla to present you with the Purcell Cups.
Great. There's a few more people here. Thanks.
You step out. Do you want to lift it high? Okay.
Nice and high now.
Right. All right.
You ready? We'll be drinking out of this later, ladies. Up the parish! Up the parish! Oh my God.
We get the cheers together. Thanks. Hello. Ah, yeah. Thanks very much.
Take turns.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When you get on, you need that one, you know, that little shot.
My turn now. Oh my God. Okay. I don't even know where to start. Firstly, the bunch of girls we have here, I suppose after the last 2 years, we actually deserve this. We've never wanted something more. We've trained hard for this all year. Whatever you thought we were saying at that training session 3 weeks ago, whatever, before that MTU game, is this sat with us, and clearly here we are. To WIT for hosting the Purcell weekend and the Ashburn weekend.
thanks a million. I know how hard it was, I'd say, to get a venue as well with the COVID and everything. So, yeah, and to, I suppose, just the college itself, the lads, the coaches, the selectors, our very own Ciara Tierney coming in as selector. I won't keep you as long. Also to NUIG, you put out some performance, you really made it hard for us at the start, and tough conditions as well. Commiserations to you, obviously. I hope you enjoy your night as well, like we I suppose. No, you really put up a massive fight for us. You made it hard for us at the start. I suppose we just fought back and...
The referee.
Yeah, I know. And also to the match officials, the referee, the umpires, the sideline men. Cheers, thanks a million. I don't want to keep you as long because I know we've other places better to be at. Up TUD, up the parish!
And you're welcome back here to the Witt Arena, and I'm joined by Bill McCormack, a tip man, but he's showing the Oracle up in Dublin at the moment because you've led TU Dublin to a great weekend here, Bill, backing up with the Purcell Cup.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday our intermediates took home in All-Ireland and we followed up today with a massive performance. Conditions were really, really tough, like ground very soft, ball sticking, a lot of rucks, so we just had to dig it out, and the girls did it, to be fair to them.
You must have been happy going in at half time. I said it to Elaine, that you stuck with NUIG because they came out with a great opening quarter, but you just kept trucking away with them to be just a point down at half time.
Yeah, I have to mention NUIG were incredible. The work rate they brought, the intensity they brought to the event, they dug it out in the first half. They out-muscled us, out-fought us. We were second best to a lot of the rucks, and they deserve huge credit for the performance they gave. We just showed a lot of heart in that second half, particularly just to properly put the pedal to the metal. The wind helped a little bit. It was definitely easier to play down the pitch with the little bit of breeze that is here, and coupled with the conditions, it's very hard to get out of your own half. So we were very happy only to be a point down at half time with those kind of conditions,
But you probably didn't have to have too much of a flea in the ear of the girls, because I think they probably knew themselves they were well in touch in this game.
Yeah. I mean, we had a chat at half time. We said, look, everything is going fine. We just need to do the simple things a bit better. Balls were hitting the deck when they should be going to hand passes going astray. But to be fair to them, they dug it out massively. They did the simple things right. They took their scores when they were offered to them, and we dug out a win. Yeah, you got a great bounce, I have to say, Bill. The start of that opening quarter of the second half was some fine score taking. Yeah, that was the period of the match where we really kind of drove home an advantage. We put a bit of a distance between ourselves and them on the scoreboard. They found it very hard to claw it back. Like, it was nip and tuck the whole way, but we always kept that cushion of 4 points. Yeah. So I think that period of 15 minutes after half time was the big one for us. Yeah, because they started to ask a few questions of you then, put a bit of pressure on your backs. But, I'm thinking of some great performances there. Gray, Shanahan put the body on the line at times. And Gannon obviously led as well from centre back. Yeah, we have some massive talent in this team. From 1 to 29, any one of the girls could have been on that field. It's very hard. We had massive headaches picking this team. Gannon is a massive help for us at the back. Niamh and Claire, they both just dog it out back there. Orla Gray as well. We've talent all over. Rachel Brennan, full back, is powerhouse. And then when you have the likes of Aisling Maher and Roisin McCormick inside, Niamh Keenan, I could go on. I could name the entire panel. They're a fantastic group to work with now, I have to say. And finally, what does this mean now for ye as TU Dublin now, in a way that you've come down here for the two finals? The camogie set up in the college. You must be brimming, I'd say, going back up the M9 this evening. That's it. The lads prioritise camogie. They put camogie to the fore in the college. It's massive. You're respected around the college. It's the girls turn up for training, and this win is massive. We'll go Ashbourne next year. We'll have a crack at it. We have played league games against the likes of the two finalists here today, and we've done all right with it. So we have a group that can be competitive next year, and with a little bit more drive on now towards next year, we hope to take it one step further into the Ashbourne. But we'll enjoy today, definitely. I'm sure you will. Enjoy our Purcell Cup. I'm sure you will. Nice one to have on the CV, Bill. Congratulations, and well done. Thanks, and we're just going to call in Jodie now, because here's a player that obviously led from the front over this semi-final and final. She told me she wants to give back this award. I think you're going to hold on to it. You don't want to give it to me anyway.
No, I've had better games, to be fair.
Tricky enough conditions, Jodie, but you really, I was just saying it to Bill, that championship quarter, I suppose, as they refer to it, as straight out of half time, you really dug in.
Yeah, you got to do that, especially on ground like this. Like, you can have all the talent in the world, but when it comes to literally like a mud bath between two teams, it's actually just who wants it more, really, at the end of the day. So we knew at half time we had so much more to give. So Bill and Kev were just like, we know what we have to do, so just up the gears a bit and went for it.
For the coaches though, big family representation here this weekend, I'd imagine. Yeah,
my grandparents are from Tramore there, just down the road. Okay. So my dad grew up in Tramore, and then I have me and my twin sister played for TUD today, and then just in the next half hour to hour, my older sister Zoe's going to be playing for DCU. Yeah. So it's a big day out for the family.
Well, I'm sure there's a few tuned into us here as well. What does this mean now for you personally, but even as the college as TUD now?
Yeah, it's great, because I came in when COVID was really rampant, so I think this is my first full year. Actually, I'm in second year now, but it's my first full year getting to actually play with the girls, and I know a lot of them through Dublin, but even the likes of the girls from Cavan and Monaghan, so it's just so good. It's just such a good, sorry, Antrim, not Monaghan, but it's just such a good atmosphere with all the girls. It just was so fun. It's such a different atmosphere to club, to county, but it's just a lot of fun with all the girls going out. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great as you said, with COVID you didn't get to experience that last year, but now this year you can just see great camaraderie between you.
Yeah, it was pure fun, like great crack, all the girls. It's just really good. It's really fun. Yeah.
Okay, well look, we're going to let you go.
Thank you.
Enjoy the celebrations that come, and congratulations on your Player of the Match
Thank you
award.
so much. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
Jodie Coucher giving us her thoughts on that game. Thanks, Jodie. We've seen a lot, I'm sure, of her with Dublin over the coming season with her twin sister and obviously her older sister later on as well. Elaine, a quick word as we wrap up this production of the Purcell Cup. Probably deserving winners in the end.
In the end, yeah, I think the work they did in the last 15 minutes of that first half, I think, is what really propelled them on to the start that they had in that second half. And I think when NUIG look back on it, they'll regret that 15 minutes maybe coming up to half time that they didn't push on their advantage a bit. They were happy enough maybe to defend and they just didn't put it on the scoreboard. And then when TU Dublin came out in that second half, they were the ones that put those 4 or 5 points quickly on the board, and as we said, turned that 1 point down into 4 points up, and they really didn't look back from there. They had those couple of maybe uncharacteristic wides then in that last 15 minutes of that final game, but that's kind of what gave NUIG the chance to be there. They'll probably regret that they didn't get something out of those 4 or 5 frees they had coming near the end. They were all half chances, they got nothing out of them, and ultimately TU Dublin held on and could end up being a great weekend for Dublin Camogie.
Yeah, just a quick word on condition. Bill McCormick referenced the breeze, the wind. He felt it was a big factor in maybe them getting the lead and ultimately that they have. I would imagine the UCD and DCU coaches might be having a look at it over here the next half hour.
Yeah, look, we looked at it at half time and NUIG were a point up. It's definitely more than a 1 point breeze. In hindsight, it's probably more 5 or 6 points, and in a game where there's no goals, it's going to be even more important. So it is going to be a huge factor, and we did see in the first game, I suppose, that little squall of rain that we had did knock it out of it for a few minutes. So there's a chance there that even if you start playing with it, that you won't necessarily have the benefit of it for the full half an hour, depending on what way the showers and stuff might fall. So look, it's there. We saw it for the free taking. Is ultimately it is going to have an impact on the game, but look, 2 hugely experienced teams coming up, so they'll know well how to play with it and against it. It's Ashburn conditions, you're well used to it.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Don't forget to join us if you're into your camogie in the third level action. We will be back with the second game, which of course is the big one, the Ashburn Cup Final. Throws in, it's an all Dublin derby. DCU going for their first ever, UCD going for their 36th, but they haven't won one since 2008. So all that to be played out from about 1:45. We'll be back on air. It throws in here at 2 o'clock. So with my thanks to Elaine on this production anyway. Well done to TU Dublin. They are the Purcell Cup champions for 2022. Good luck to you.